Hello, PPLSI family. Chris Ward coming to you from Denver, Colorado. Super excited to introduce you to our brand new CEO, Mr. Warren Schlichting. He's gallivanting all over the country, and so we wanted to connect in person, but this was our next best option. So, Mr. Schlichting, welcome. I'd love for you, for the people that haven't either heard your story or read the press release that was just sent out, wouldn't you please share a little bit about yourself and how you came to know about LegalShield?
Hey, thanks, Chris. And by the way, for you and for everyone else, it's just Warren. My last name is way too difficult, so Schlichting, you can drop that. I'm just Warren. Anyway, I appreciate the opportunity, Chris, and wish I were there with you in person. I know I said I thought I could be, and now I'm going to be in Miami with some more of our network associates. But I'll tell you a little bit about background, and I'll jump around a little bit because you can read a bio, and a bio is like I don't know, it's part of the story, but it's certainly not all of it. I think that the parts that resonated for me with this opportunity came from growing up in Kansas. I'm a small town kid, I think when the recruiters found me, they said, wow, this guy actually understands Ada, Oklahoma, or at least I hope to. He's been in the subscription business. So I've, 20 years of, and by the way, subscription businesses have a lot of similarities. Never run into one quite like this, but there are so many characteristics that are similar. And then, I've been on the East Coast for a number of years in my career, and I know the finance world reasonably well as well. So it feels like sort of an interesting and unusual set of check boxes there in my background. So I'm happy to be here, and hopefully I can take all of that experience and put it to work.
Well, thank you. And, what was it about the company that you shared when you were in Denver, but now that you're a week into your position, what is it about the company that you feel is a really differentiator from a lot of the other companies you may have looked at? And why did you decide to come on board?
To be, in my stage of my career, I've done a lot, I've seen a lot. And, I was really hoping to find a company that was purpose-driven or mission-driven, I think is the probably more accurate term here. And when I say unreal, it's almost too good to be true that both, I just visited with one of our provider firms here in Virginia. And the fact that our provider partners, our network associates, our corporate employees are all aligned in our mission is just rare. I will say I've seen a lot of companies, I've worked with a lot of companies. That's rare, and it's unique, and it's special. So when I first saw the job description from Egon Zehnder, they're the executive recruiters, I was pretty skeptical. And a lot of you have probably faced skepticism that's similar. It's like too good to be true. There's a catch, there's a hook, there's something. And every rock that I turned over, instead of yielding something bad, it was a good experience. And so that goodness really attracted me. And I thought, I'm going to give this a second chance, a third interview, a fourth interview, right? By the way, they're pretty thorough. I probably had between 15 and 20 interviews with this job. And slowly but surely I think, Chris, I mentioned to you, I went from skeptic to evangelist, and that was about a 2-month period. So it's mission driven. Those are two different things, but I love the mission, and I love the fact that it's mission driven, and that there's a certain amount of belief that has to come with this. So I think I don't know if that answers your question, but that's why I'm here.
Absolutely. And I think what some of the associates that have reached out to me that knew that you were in Denver, Colorado, and asked, what was it that you feel like you're bringing to the table to really support that mission?
Yeah, I'll tell you, first of all, I'm honored to be here, and I hope I can serve all of you and support and actually use my skill set to move the company forward. One question that I asked myself during the process that I just described was, why doesn't everyone have this product, right? And why don't more people know about this product? When I ask around, this is so classic. I ask friends and I ask other people um, who had not heard of PPLSI or LegalShield. Then I asked my wife, and of course, turns out she subscribed a couple of years ago. So she thought the product was great. I started to find out a little bit more about it. And the fact that no one in my immediate circle really understood it, that's a huge opportunity. I've been in media for a long time, 20 years on the pay TV side. And I've run a lot of marketing campaigns. I've also sold media. The media can be a powerful tool and accelerator for us. I mean, this can really, if you've got a company that's awesome, a product that's great, NPS scores that are higher than any I've ever seen, I kid you not, I can hardly believe them. I always wonder if there's some other shoe to drop, but so far so good. Then the media can be used judiciously. And I don't think we're going to go out there and plaster the television screens and outdoor billboards with PPLSI and LegalShield yet, but the media can be powerful. So I feel like I bring a sensibility about subscription and subscription businesses, and an understanding of the media, and a real heart for the product. And I feel like that's all three of those are the ingredients and that I bring to this equation. And hopefully we move forward with greater brand recognition. I mean, that just works all the way around, and one hand washes the other. Wouldn't it be nice to be out in the market with a product that's as well known as Geico, right? Now they've spent billions, literally, but we are using their agency on our television creative and our video creative. And I've used them in the past, by the way. It's one of the ways that, and I think the world of them, to accelerate growth in every channel. At least that's my hope and my desire, and that's how I hope to support you.
Well, thank you. And another thing is, it is kind of cliche inside, I think, our industry, but in particular our company, where we talk about moving into all-out massive momentum and gaining that in-house recognition. Everybody's going to have us, and so on and so forth. But just to look at, as opposed to asking about your 5-year vision, what about in 2023? What are some of the targets that you may have already identified that you'd like to see us hit in just the next year?
I was at a board dinner a couple of nights ago, and the original investors, one of the original investors was sitting next to me, and he said, we've only had all 4 channels going north for about a year and a half. It feels like when one is good, the other one's down, and vice versa. So my goal for 2023, by the end of 2023, is to have all 4 sales channels working, not only moving north, but working together. And I know that's a tall order, and I know there's been some friction in the past, but I'm used to that. Friction's not good. Healthy tension, competition makes us all get better. So I'd like to dial down the friction and dial up the healthy tension. And so we're all in this thing together, and we're all competing, and we're all out there, saying the same thing to different audiences. So for 2023, I think we can actually, up our marketing game, and we've got a good team. And I'd like, by the end of it, to have all sales channels moving north at the same time. If you have all boats rising, that's fun. That's when you have a lot of fun in a business. That sort of growth, that sort of excitement. Your neighbors, your friends, they'll notice, they'll say something. You go to sit on the basketball bleachers, someone will say, hey, I saw this, or I did that, or I heard about this. That's when business gets really fun. And that's my goal for 2023.
Well, and as opposed to waiting for 2023, what would you recommend for all the sales associates that we can do, or we should do right now, is to build momentum into next year?
How do you build momentum? Well, one thing is start now, to your point, like, let's go, right? But But building momentum is hard at the beginning, right? It's hard to get that going. It's hard to get that started. And then when you get a little bit of traction, and Chris, you're the expert in network marketing. Recruiting is so difficult. How do we move forward and not move forward in sort of small increments, but how do we think about doubling? How do we double our recruiting efforts? We have a product that people have not heard about. And if they have heard about it, they're fans. And if they've used it, they're bigger fans. Let's double our recruiting efforts. That's where network selling gets to be really fun, I think. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think recruiting is a blast. And it's a lot more fun when it starts to exponentially grow from there. So,
yeah.
All right, Warren, do you have any closing comments? Because there's people that are watching this that are not associates. We have members who are not associates, and we also have associates watching this video. Do you have any final messages for everybody?
Well, I do, Chris, and I'm glad you asked me that question because I'm relatively new to the company. But I'll tell you the thing that has struck me over and over and over is the level of enthusiasm, the evangelism. I guess I would ask, are you a supporter of the product or are you a raving fan of the product? And I'll tell you an example. Literally in that board meeting I mentioned in New York, one of the partners, one of our investors, left the boardroom, came back and on his face, he said, I just use LegalShield and it's magic. And I think it was a document review. I don't know the details, but that's the kind of magic we have. Go out, use the product, especially folks that are new to this or hearing about it for the first time. It will turn you into more than a supporter. Raving might be a word you want to use. Fan, raving fan. Use the product, love the product, live the product. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir. We look forward to working alongside with you, and you have a wonderful close to your year.
Thank you, Chris. And thank you, all of you in the Denver area. Trust me, I'll be back. You won't be able to keep me away. And I look forward to meeting many of you in person. Bye.
Bye-bye.